So we have yet another company that has been outed and exposed for being pretty terrible to their workers. Last time it was Frito-Lay, which is a company that's underneath Pepsi. As the CEO was making $14 million or $15 million, workers were working 70 days in a row, and just some of them had like pretty much no time off, and some people had died from being overworked, and the factory didn't have climate control, and so it was too hot or too cold at various times of the year. All these problems. Well, now we know that the Nabisco, the company that makes Oreos and Ritz, they are working their people to the bone. Take a look at this.
People can be forced to working up to 60, 70 days. I've personally worked 45 days in a row without a day off.
We want to be treated like we're people instead of like slaves.
The company has never given us anything, but corporate greed is taking everything away, and we'll be out here until we can stop corporate greed.
When you bite a Chips Ahoy, we bet you bite a chip.
Who can resist the golden, buttery, melt-in-your-mouth taste of a Ritz?
Oreo, unlock the magic.
Nabisco.
They came with some demands in the last negotiation that were all takeaways. They wanted to take our overtime away. They wanted to put us on a 7-day work schedule, 12-hour days.
They currently want to change our overtime pay so that if you work all that time, you will end up eventually getting paid less for working that amount of time.
Your impact going to be about a $40,000 a year loss for all the workers across the board.
They've actually closed 2 factories recently, and they don't disclose where the production's going, but we know it's going to Mexico.
It sucks. I just turned 55 years old, got 37 years.
With the COVID-19, I don't know who's gonna hire me right now.
Everything going to Mexico. All of it.
I grew up with Nabisco products, Oreo, cream and crackers, Chip Ahoys. I knew they were made here. I knew they were made around the corner from where I live. To see those things go to another country where people are making less pay and the company is still making billions, it's disheartening.
I've been here since 1987, so I guess it'd be 34, 35 years. This company's actually squeezed everything out of it they could.
They don't even want us to step onto the grass of the property, so they're putting a fence up right on the property line. They're basically kicking the employees to the curb.
We want the community to support us. We want America to support us. We don't want you to buy Nabisco products, not during our strike. When we come back to work, we want you to support Nabisco products, but only Nabisco products made in America. If you read the back of the label, it will say made in America, or made in Mexico, or made in Canada. And we want to keep our jobs in America. We want to keep middle class. And right now they're trying to destroy it all.
Yet again, more Perfect Union doing some incredible work there. Credit to them. Look at that. They shut a factory in New Jersey and Atlanta and outsourced the jobs. Trump ran as the anti-outsourcing president, and a lot of people don't know this, but his 2017 tax cut bill actually incentivized outsourcing. It incentivized corporations to set up shop overseas and get rid of jobs here in the U.S. And so that's exactly what's happening here. New Jersey and Atlanta factories closed. It'll say made in Mexico, made in Canada, or made in America on the product. And so they're saying, hey, take a look. If it says made in America, buy it, but don't buy anything now because they're on strike. Look at the facts there. 60 or 70 days in a row. A lot of people work. That guy who talked worked for 45 days straight. 45 days straight. They made $3.5 billion, but they're trying to take away overtime pay and do a 7-day work schedule and 12-hour days. How does it get to this point, man? How does it get to this point? This is out of this world. And it really is just a reminder that we really need policies in this country that are even more aggressive than I thought. So maybe there should be a hard cap on the amount of time that somebody could work, you know? Maybe there should be a hard cap per week on how many hours you can work. And obviously, this goes without saying, all the laws should not be to incentivize outsourcing. The laws should incentivize staying here in the U.S. Maybe businesses get a special subsidy or a special tax break if they keep jobs in the U.S. And if they outsource it, you tax them more and make it not worth their while and not worth their time. Obviously, U.S. leaders have taken the opposite approach, whether it's with NAFTA or CAFTA or the World Trade Organization or permanent normal trade relations with China. This is hollowed out America's working class, and so many people are screwed because of the corruption and the policies that we have as a result of that corruption. So we got to end the outsourcing. We got to keep the jobs here. We got to have better overtime pay laws. We have to have hard cap on the amount of time that you work, paid vacation time by law. I think you should have unions that are basically universal or near universal, where the default is you're in a union and you have to opt out if you want out. I mean, if we don't do it, we're screwed. Workers are totally screwed. And it's not a coincidence that at the time when the middle class of the U.S. was the strongest, it was when unionization rates were the highest. That is not a coincidence. So, solidarity with these workers. I don't know how hot you guys are on economic boycotts, but if you are inclined to do economic boycotts, listen to them and don't get Nabisco products until there's some sort of deal made. But listen, even with the Frito-Lay thing, the union negotiated a deal that was like still not great. Like, it was only, they get a day off guaranteed per week. That's the deal. They were protesting all that time, and that was the deal, when their pay basically hadn't gone up in like a decade, and the wasn't climate controlled in the factory, so people would get heat exhaustion, or people would be too cold in the winter. All these issues, and that was what they were able to negotiate. It just shows how much of a stranglehold these corporations have on everybody. They have a stranglehold on the workers. They have a stranglehold on the government. So you got to get the corruption out of the government and have representatives who actually represent the people, and you got to have strong unions. And it is a little overwhelming when you see how Disney treats their workers terribly, Frito-Lay treats their workers terribly, Nabisco does. It's like so rare that you find genuinely good corporations. The one that has the best reputation that I know of is actually Costco. But all the others, Sam's Club is like a part of Walmart, and we all know how terrible Walmart can be, and you see what's going on with all these stories we're covering. But don't get overwhelmed. Get busy. Get active. Unionize, get involved in a union, protest on specific issues, work on specific issues, try to get it on direct ballot initiatives, whether it's raising the minimum wage to a living wage or pro-union legislation like the PRO Act or whatever it might be, because we got so many problems to address, and this gives you a sense of the scope and how terrible it really is. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.